Hello, my lovely crime enthusiasts, and welcome back to True Crime Tales with Cosette. I'm Cosette, your host, and today we're diving into a case that hits close to home for me as a Maltese woman, a case that has left a family in agony, a nation puzzled, and questions unanswered. This is the story of Mike Mansholt, a 17-year-old German teenager whose dream holiday to Malta in 2016 ended in tragedy, shrouded in mystery and suspicion. What happened to Mike at the foot of Dingli Cliffs? Why was his body returned to Germany missing nearly all its organs? And why, almost a decade later, does his family still have no closure? Grab a cuppa, settle in, and let's unravel this haunting tale together. But be warned, this story is as perplexing as it is heartbreaking. Act 1. The Adventurer's Journey. Mike Mansholt was a young man full of life and adventure. Born in Oldenburg, Germany, he was just 17 years old in July 2016, with a passion for travel, sports, and the open water. Mike was no stranger to daring escapades. He'd sailed with his family to the Shetland Islands and even crossed the North Atlantic to Iceland. His father, Bernd Mansholt, described him as a born adventurer, always chasing the next thrill. In July 2016, Mike set off on his first solo holiday to Malta, a Mediterranean gem known for its stunning landscapes, vibrant culture, and yes, its party scene. As a Maltese person, I can tell you that our islands draw thousands of young tourists like Mike every year, eager to explore our history, dive into our crystal waters, or dance the night away in nightclubs. Mike was staying in a youth hostel, ready to soak up everything Malta had to offer. He rented a bicycle, strapped on his GoPro camera, and set out to explore the rugged beauty of our islands. But on the 18th of July 2016, Mike didn't return to his hostel. His family, expecting him back in Germany, grew alarmed when he missed his scheduled flight home. 4 days later, on the 26th of July, his body was found at the base of Dingli Cliffs, one of Malta's most dramatic and isolated landmarks. Dingli Cliffs, for those who haven't visited, are breathtaking, but treacherous. They tower over the Mediterranean, with sheer drops and rocky terrain. It's a place where the beauty of nature meets raw, untamed danger. The official report stated Mike had fallen to his death while cycling. A tragic accident, they said, but as we'll soon discover, the details didn't add up. When Mike's body was discovered, it was lying in a rock depression at the foot of the cliffs, roughly 95 feet below the edge. His rented bicycle was found caught in a bush a few feet above, his sunglasses and sports shoes scattered nearby. The scene painted a picture of a catastrophic fall, except it didn't. A Maltese post-mortem concluded Mike had been dead for 7 to 8 days, meaning he likely died shortly after he was reported missing on the 18th of July. But here's where things get murky. The Maltese authorities declared his death was due to natural causes, despite no clear evidence pointing to what those causes were. A fall from such a height should have left visible injuries, broken bones, fractures, trauma, yet both the Maltese and German autopsies later confirmed Mike had no broken bones. Let me repeat that. No broken bones after a supposed 95-foot fall. Now, as someone who's grown up in Malta, I know our cliffs are unforgiving. A fall like that would almost certainly leave catastrophic injuries, so how does a healthy 17-year-old fall 95 feet and emerge without a single fracture? And there's more. The bicycle itself showed damage that experts later said was not consistent with a high-impact fall. Something wasn't right. But the most chilling detail came when Mike's body was repatriated to Germany a month later, in August 2016. When the coffin arrived, the German undertaker noticed something alarming. The body was far too light. Weighing just 16 kilograms, about 35 pounds, it was clear something was terribly wrong. A second autopsy at the Medical University of Hanover revealed a horrifying truth. Mike's body was missing nearly all its internal organs. His heart, brain, lungs, liver, pancreas, adrenal glands, right kidney, bladder, stomach, and small intestine were gone. Even his hyoid bone, a small bone in the throat often used to detect strangulation, was missing. The Maltese authorities offered a shocking explanation: rodents. Yes, you heard that right. A Maltese medical expert testified in court that rodents might have eaten Mike's organs while his body lay undiscovered, but the German autopsy found no evidence to support this claim. No bite marks, no signs of animal interference. Besides, how could rodents selectively remove nearly every major organ, including the hyoid bone, without leaving a trace? It's an explanation that frankly strains credulity. As a Maltese person, I feel a deep sense of unease about this. Our islands are small, our systems tight-knit. Mistakes happen, but this feels like more than incompetence. Mike's family, especially his father, Bernd, began to suspect a cover-up, and who could blame them? Bernd Mansholt, Mike's father, was devastated but determined. A goldsmith by trade, he put his life on hold to seek answers. He traveled to Malta multiple times, questioning potential witnesses and retracing his son's final steps. He learned that Mike's phone, wallet, GoPro and backpack were never recovered. Photos taken at the scene, reportedly masses of them, mysteriously never made it into the case file. A local farmer from Dingli was mentioned in some reports, but there's no evidence he was thoroughly investigated. Bernd's suspicions grew when he uncovered another disturbing detail. Mike's body hadn't been embalmed before being shipped to Germany, a violation of international regulations for transporting remains. This oversight further complicated determining the cause of death, as decomposition had advanced significantly. In 2018, the case was reopened in Malta after pressure from the Mansholt family, but the inquiry reached the same conclusion: a fall, with no further evidence provided. The Attorney General stated in August 2018 that allegations of murder found no reasonable basis. Yet Bernd wasn't convinced. He believed Mike wasn't alone when he died. There is no other way of explaining the circumstances, he told Times of Malta in 2021. He even proposed a theory, though he kept the details private, that he wanted tested through a European Investigation Order, EIO. In July 2021, Bernd took a bold step. Through German prosecutors, he requested an EIO, asking German courts to compel Maltese authorities to reopen the investigation. The aim? To answer three haunting questions. How did Mike die? Who was with him? And what happened to his organs? Under EU principles of mutual recognition, Malta would be obliged to comply, but progress has been slow and the family still waits for answers. So what did happen to Mike Mansholt? Let's explore the possibilities. The official narrative is that Mike fell while cycling, but the lack of broken bones and the bicycle's condition cast serious doubt. Could he have been placed at the base of the cliffs after death? The missing organs raise even darker questions. Was this a botched autopsy, as some have suggested, with organs removed and not returned due to carelessness? Or, and I say this with caution as it's speculative, could there be a more sinister explanation, like organ trafficking or a deliberate cover-up to protect Malta's tourism industry? As a Maltese person, I have to acknowledge the elephant in the room. Malta's reputation has taken hits over the years. Allegations of corruption, organized crime, and even the 2017 murder of journalist Daphne Caruana Galizia, who exposed links between Malta's government and shady dealings. Could Mike's case be tangled in something bigger? Bernd Mansholt himself wondered if the truth was suppressed to avoid negative publicity for our islands. Another theory, raised by German investigators, is suffocation. The missing hyoid bone is significant, as it often breaks in cases of strangulation. Without it, and without the organs, determining the cause of death becomes nearly impossible. Was this intentional? We simply don't know. Then there's the question of the missing items. Mike's phone, wallet, GoPro and backpack. Were they taken by someone at the scene? Did they hold clues to what happened? And why were the crime scene photos withheld? These unanswered questions fuel suspicion that the investigation was at best mishandled, or at worst deliberately obstructed. On the 4th of September 2016, Mike's ashes were scattered in the Jade Bight Bay of the North Sea, near his hometown. For Bernd, it was a way to keep his son close on every shore of the earth. But the pain of not knowing what happened to Mike has taken a toll. Bernd sold his goldsmith business, rented out his home, and began sailing the Mediterranean with his new family, trying to rebuild his life. In a 2018 interview with Die Welt, He admitted he was losing hope of ever getting answers from Maltese authorities. As a Maltese person, this case weighs heavily on me. We pride ourselves on our hospitality, our vibrant culture, and our beautiful islands. But cases like Mike's and others, like the unsolved deaths of Justin Plett and Johanna Boney, cast a shadow. Are we failing the families who come to us seeking justice? Are our institutions equipped to handle such mysteries, or is there something deeper at play? Mike Mansholt's story is a reminder that behind every true crime case is a family searching for closure. Bernd Mansholt's fight continues, but without cooperation from Maltese authorities, the truth may remain buried. If you're watching from Malta, Germany, or anywhere else, I urge you to share this story. Maybe someone out there knows something about the farmer, the missing GoPro, or what happened on that fateful day in July 2016. That's all for today's episode of True Crime Tales with Cosette. If you have any information about Mike Mansholt's case, please contact the Maltese police. Let's help bring answers to Mike's family. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated on the latest episodes. Share your thoughts in the comments. What do you think happened to Mike? An accident, foul play, or something else entirely? And if you're new here, check out my other episodes diving into the mysteries that keep us up at night. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and keep seeking the truth.